allegation. And family raises concern over planned. It's a pleasure to have you join News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Okpeyemi Owosheni. Kicking off with security, the Nigerian Army has declared 38 senior leaders of the Islamic State West African Province ISWAP terrorist group wanted. In a statement on Wednesday, the head region of Borno State, where troops recovered a camcorder and other intelligence materials. The Army said forensic analysis of the recovered devices led to the identification of key ISWAP commanders and their locations within the Mangari, Metele, Dogon Chukun axes in Abadam and Kokwa local government areas. Among those declared wanted is Abu Musa Al-Mangui Bashua, identified as the wily governor of ISWAP and one of the group's most wanted leaders in the Lake Chad Basin. Away from security now, President Bola Tinubu has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to withdraw a court order freezing an account belonging to the Osun State government. In a statement personally issued on Thursday, the president said he was deeply embarrassed not by the commission's decision to act on a court-backed order, but by the timing of the move. The president said the intervention became necessary because actions taken by federal institutions are often associated with his administration, whether or not he had prior knowledge of them. The president maintained that since assuming office in May 2023, he has supported the independence of anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies, insisting they must carry out their responsibilities professionally and without political interference. Meanwhile, the Osun State government has dismissed an allegation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission that 11 billion naira was looted from the state's account, calling the statement a failed attempt to cover up illegal action through unfounded allegations. According to a statement signed by the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Oluomo Kolakbo, the state alleged that the real reason the commission froze the state account on the order of Gbenga Oyetola was to stop the payment of palliative, which the state government promised the workers some months ago. The state maintained that he had paid his workers palliative following negotiations to cushion the effect of the country's economic challenges. The government alleged that the EFCC had been investigating top officials since March 2026 without finding evidence of wrongdoing. Now, President Bola Tinubu's directive to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to seek the withdrawal of a court order freezing an Osun State government account has raised important legal and constitutional questions. To examine the legal implications, I'm joined by legal practitioner Evans Ofeli. Mr. Ofeli, welcome and thank you for joining us on the news. Now, legally, can the president direct the EFCC to seek the withdrawal of a court order? And what does this mean for the commission's independence?
Well, the president can actually direct any ministry, on issues that pertains to their operation. The president has that right to make such direction. Remember, the president appoints the chairman of the EFCC. So he can influence their actions, either positively or negatively. Now, what the president did in the case under reference is to intervene as a leader. And I commend the president for doing this. This is how a leader should operate. When an institution has taken certain action that seems to be illegal or that have certain kind of undertone or that the optics are not very right, in the manner for which the institution have deployed its operation. A leader will intercept such, a leader will intervene and then calm the situation. What the president did, he didn't ask them not to investigate the governor of Osun State. He didn't tell them not to do their job as EFCC. But he said, as for the phrasing of the account, the timing, the optics, there's everything is wrong about what the EFCC did. No matter the level of explanation or the sections of law they are trying to quote and then to cover it up and all that, no matter the level, you see, what they did is not applicable across states. And so it smacks of, a witch hunt, or it smacks of inequity in their operation. And the president coming out to, address this issue timelessly is one that is very commendable, to say the least. The president did the right thing. This is embarrassing. Do not freeze the account. You can investigate, you can do whatever you want to do as long as it's within the bounds of law. But do not get so high-handed based on suspicion. Because even under the law, suspicion alone is not evidence. Okay. Suspicion, however probable, cannot metamorphosize into evidence. So you still need evidence in whatever you are doing. And even if you have the right under the law to freeze an account for 72 hours and all that according to the Money Laundering Act and the EFCC Act, the timing under which you deploy it can be misinterpreted, okay? And the way you go about it can be misinterpreted. And that is what I see that the president is trying to avoid in the case under reference by, intercepting and calling for a lift of that action so that parties can maintain a situation. They can go ahead thereafter to investigate the governor of the state and all that. But what they have done so far in the manner they went about it was wrong.
I was actually even going to ask you if the EFCC has the powers to freeze the account of a state government without a court order. But now, briefly, how should the law balance the EFCC's duty to investigate suspected financial crimes with the need to avoid actions that could affect public confidence in an election, seeing that the Osho State election is just a few days away now?
Yeah, they must not act in ways that look like they are being used as a vehicle to undermine a political party. Okay? And that is what they must know. And that's what the president is trying to avoid in the case under reference. They have a right under the law to freeze the account for 72 hours. Okay? Okay? But you see, that law itself is questionable because these are acts of parliament that gave the EFCC that right. But the law didn't ask them to abuse the powers, okay? Because what they are trying to do now, they are trying to come under the provisions of law to exercise and abuse and their recklessness. That's what they're trying to do. The intentment of that law is that they should be able to do investigation within that short period, and where necessary, they can then apply for a court order thereafter to extend, the number of hours that they have. That is intentment. The intentment of that law is not that it should be used, politically, or it should be used to witch hunt or to, or to put down a particular political party or a section or a state, put them under difficulties. Because the truth is that if you freeze that account and then the state is not able to carry on its responsibilities, its operations, how would the people who are supposed to be protected by the state, how would they be protected? How would the state run? Those are issues. So the state is a sub-sovereign. It's just an attachment of the federation. So the action of the governor or the workers or the politicians in the state must not be such that a punishment will level against the state that will not affect the citizens. So the intentment is not for you to shut down the state. Intentment is for you to be able to do your job and do it objectively without any strings. And so the EFCC is hereby compelled or advised henceforth to act in a manner that will put them on the neutral side and not to act this way.
We'll continue to monitor development in Osho State as they unfold. Legal expert Evans Ofeli, thank you for sharing your insight on the news.
Very well. Thank you.
Away from Osho State now, the family of the purported Director General of the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, Adini Adeyemi, has raised concerns over an alleged attempt by members of the House of Representatives at a committee investigating the council to question him while in police custody without the presence of his lawyers. Adeyemi's brother, Peter Adeyemi, who spoke with journalists on Thursday, alleged that members of the committee visited the facility where Adeyemi is being detained and sought to interrogate him, but that he declined to respond to questions in the absence of his legal representatives. According to him, the family was worried about the development and appealed to the committee to allow Adeyemi to respond to the allegations against him in the same public manner in which the accusations were made. The latest allegation by the family came a day after Adeyemi, through his lawyer Ademola Oyedokun, objected to the committee's plan to question him at an undisclosed location while he remains in police custody. The Nigerian government has launched a new institutional framework aimed at strengthening collaboration between the National Human Rights Commission and the Nigerian Police Force in preventing human rights violations, improving institutional accountability, and ensuring more effective responses to complaints involving law enforcement. The initiative, known as the NHRC Nigeria Police Force Joint Implementation and Liaison Framework, is expected to improve coordination, accountability, and the protection of citizens' rights through closer cooperation between the two institutions. TV360 correspondent Emeka Amako files on this next report from Abuja.
The launch of the NHRC Nigeria Police Force Joint Implementation and Liaison Framework marks a significant step in efforts to strengthen the promotion and protection of human rights in Nigeria and provide a formal platform for collaboration between the National Human Rights Commission and the Nigeria Police Force. Speaking at the event, officials from both institutions described the framework as a reflection of a shared commitment to professional policing, respect for the rule of law, and the protection of the rights and freedoms guaranteed under Nigeria's constitution and international human rights obligations.
Therefore, today's inauguration signifies a vital transition from policy dialogue to practical implementation. We expect this framework to drive significant advancements in the following areas: institutional accountability, respect for human rights, strict compliance with the Constitution and Administration of Criminal Justice Act, professionalism in policing, public confidence in law enforcement, strategic cooperation between our respective institutions. By leveraging this partnership, we intend to establish structured communication channels, enhance compliant resolution mechanisms, improve detention monitoring, build the capacity of our officers, and formulate practical solutions to emerging human rights challenges.
Ultimately, the greatest beneficiaries of this partnership will be the Nigerian people. Commitment of the Nigerian Police Force. The Nigerian Police Force remains fully committed to the successful implementation of this framework. We shall continue to provide the necessary institutional support required for the effective discharge of the responsibilities assigned under this framework. We equally
encourage all officers entrusted with responsibilities under this framework to approach their assignment with professionalism, integrity, and a shared sense of public service.
Other stakeholders expressed optimism that the framework would strengthen public confidence in law enforcement by promoting transparency, accountability, and prompt resolution of human rights complaints.
To ensure accountability and transparency in the conduct and performance of the police, Section 69, Subsection 1 of the Police Act 2020 has mandated the police officer in charge of a police station to report to supervising magistrate within its area of responsibility. This is one of the key things that police officers must do. They must report every aspect of arrest to the presiding magistrate within their areas of responsibility.
The inauguration of the Joint Implementation and Liaison Framework reflects the shared resolve of the NHRC and the Nigerian Police Force to deepen institutional cooperation in support of justice, democratic governance, and the protection of the rights and freedoms of all persons in Nigeria.
The West African Examination Council has released the result of the 2026 computer-based West African Senior School Certificate Examination, with 61.54% of candidates obtaining at least 5 credits, including English language and mathematics. Announcing the results in Lagos, the head of YX Nigeria National Office, Amos Dangot, said 1.83 million candidates, representing more than 94% of those who sat for the examination, have had their result released, while about 116,000 remain under processing. WAEC also withheld the result of 167,486 candidates over alleged examination malpractice, although the figure represents a slight decline from 2025.
Despite logistic delays and challenges with registration deadlines, examinations were successfully conducted nationwide. Inflation and rogue website operators posed difficulties, but through collaboration with security agencies, several offenders, including supervisors complicit in malpractice, were apprehended. You will recall that some of the challenges we faced attempted to mar the exam, but because of the resilience of staff, the support of government and all stakeholders, were able to surmount. Those number of candidates that have 5 credits that include English and mathematics stood at 1,200,514 candidates, and that on a percentage level is 61.54.
It's now time for a short break. When News Now returns, Commission EFCC to withdraw a court order freezing an account belonging to the Osun State government. In a statement personally issued on Thursday, the president said he was deeply embarrassed not to take illegal action through unfounded allegations. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on X, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. It's now time for business news, and Simi Sola Adigun is on standby. What's the latest, Simi?
Thank you very much, Opeyemi. Welcome to business news. Now, the Lagos State government says it is shifting support for small businesses beyond access to finance, with a renewed focus on helping entrepreneurs reach customers and grow sustainable enterprises. The commitment was made at the launch of the 3-day Lagos on Display Access to Market Fair, organized by the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, where about 300 micro, small and medium-sized businesses are showcasing their products and services. State officials say the initiative is designed to bridge one of the biggest challenges facing small businesses by connecting entrepreneurs directly with consumers while offering business support services, including loan applications and health insurance enrollment. The government says the LS ETF has disbursed more than 15 billion naira to over 10,000 businesses, but insists long-term growth will depend not only on funding, but on creating stronger commercial opportunities for local enterprises.
The Lagos State Employment Trust Fund is a key agency under the ministry established to advance this mandate. Through its programs and interventions, LSETF drives enterprise development, facilitates access to finance, and supports job creation by empowering micro, small, medium enterprises. and entrepreneurs across the state. Today, we are pleased to introduce another important milestone in that journey: access to market, an initiative that reflects our shared commitment to sustaining Lagos State entrepreneurial ecosystem and creating sustainable pathways for businesses to grow. As we mark these 10 years of the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment and the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, our mandate has been clear, our execution measurable, and our results documented. In the first decade, LSETF has disbursed over 15 billion across 20,000. LSTF has disbursed over 15 billion across 20,000 loans, created 320,000 jobs, and trained over 30,000 young people, while maintaining a percentage of 94% repayment rate.
At LSETF, we've been doing a lot of work, and we're very glad to be working in collaboration with our parent ministry. This event is a market stimulation event. It's not enough for us to disburse the loans, but sometimes people need access to a market. And Lagos is the best market in the world. There are over 20 million of us in this state, so why not? But what we even say at LSETF is that we want people to start in Lagos and then go beyond.
And in the stock market, trading activities on the Nigerian exchange continued on a positive note on Thursday, August 6, as the all-share index advanced by 0.12% to close at 244,912 basis points, pushing market capitalization to 158.3 trillion naira. A total of 134 NGX-listed equities participated in the trading session, leaving 24 stocks recording gains and 35 closing lower. Turner emerged as the top gainer, rising by 10% to close at 36 naira 30 kobo per share, followed by Ava Capital, which appreciated by 9.63%. And the market recorded 531.7 million shares traded in 44,755 deals valued at 20.45 billion naira. At the local markets, positive performance came against a mixed outing across major global financial markets, with most regional exchanges closing lower. The weaknesses were reflected in our select global stocks, the UK's FTSE, US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei, all of which ended the session in negative territory. And switching to the foreign exchange market, the Naira traded at 1,420 to the US dollar at 1,900. And Forex market report, back to you, Opayemi.
Thank you very much, Timi. Moving on to the foreign scene, former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina says she's ready to return home despite the risk of arrest, imprisonment or death 2 years after she was ousted and fled to India. Speaking in New Delhi, Hasina said she could not remain away from her supporters as Bangladesh continues to demand her extradition. The former leader was sentenced to death by Bangladesh's Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal over allegations linked to the killing of more than 1,400 people during the 2024 uprising, a verdict she has rejected. And on sport, after a difficult start to their 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations campaign, Nigeria's Super Falcons have secured their place in the quarter-finals, setting up a high-stakes clash with long-time rivals Cameroon. Nigeria's dominant 6-2 victory over Egypt in the final group. 6-time Women's African Footballer of the Year Asisat Oshoala, Christy Ucheibe and Rasheedat Ajibade all converted from 12 yards as Nigeria underlined their experience and composure under pressure. The quarter-final carries added significance, with the winner earning an automatic
found out that Zambia, though small, but their currency is quite better than Nigeria. But because I hid it very far, he couldn't get access to it. He tore my bag, went away with my BTA. It's $885, and then I didn't see him. He absconded. When he left, I was asked to move out of the hotel because he didn't pay the bills. But I noticed that he and the receptionist were in good accordance. you know. So I tried asking the researcher, did that man tell you he was going to come back? I'm with HIV, I'm with this, I'm with that, you know, so you want to sleep with me and all that. So they made away with my travel documents, my return tickets, and
1,374 meters. The Altai Mountains stretch for over 2,000 kilometers across China, Mongolia, Russia, and Kazakhstan. The Altai Mountains in China are situated in the southern region of the central section, spanning a total length of over 500 kilometers. The Irtyx River, which is the sole river that flows into the Arctic Ocean from China, nestled in the northern part of Xinjiang, the Altai region shares borders with Russia, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia, and is perfectly positioned in the world-renowned skiing latitude from 45 to 47 degrees north. On September 2018, it was awarded the China's climate label, China's national climate. This location boasts the oldest rock paintings of human.
I'm Yinke Bayer, a Mongolian born in Hermu Township.
With winter's arrival, Yinke returns to his childhood home in Hermu village. 5 years ago, winds have plummeted temperatures in Hermu village, turning it snowy. Back in the day, getting around was no walk in the park, but the Tuvans had it figured out. They counted on skis to get around in the snow. The skis have a thick fur layer, and they're called fur skis, with locals referring to them as chana. They might represent one of the oldest skis known in human history. Back in 2005, a piece of rock painting found in Dundabrak Valley, Altai City, depicted China records certificate of.
Skis are something that we have inherited from the past until now. Almost as soon as we start walking, we begin learning to use fur skis. When the snow is more than 1 or 2 meters deep, it is smooth because the fur is arranged in the direction of travel when it is made. Then you use the stick to control your balance.
Today, the fur skis created by the wisdom of our ancestors have become a cultural and tourism characteristic experience project in Hermu village. Yinke successfully joins the traditional fur skis team. People are fully enjoying the joy brought by ice.
Hermu is now seeing a surge in visitors
known to the outside world. The Hermu River winds its way west and merges with the Kanas River to become the biggest tributary of the Irtyx River, known as the Burkine River. The Kazakh people living here also demonstrate great wisdom in their winter travel.
I'm Milk Tea from Aki Village in Chonghuer Township, Birkin County. I do some crafts and I make horse-drawn sleighs.
to make the horse-drawn sleighs over a decade ago. Sledges, also known as sleds, are the main mode of transportation for people living in the northern snowy regions.
Seasoning the wood for a year is essential, and we use birch because it's more resilient than other types of wood.
Completing a sleigh takes about 7 days. The preparation is just beginning. Drawing patterns is the highlight of his sleigh making. The eagle symbolizes thanks to the booming tourism in the area, this skill now generates over 20,000 yuan in annual income for him.